Good morning and welcome to week two or the end of week one, however you want to look at it. I'd like to think about it more positively. Like, here we go, we're beginning week two, life is good. Um, it's going to be a brief video. I just want to cover a couple of things this morning as we move into what is ultimately, I guess, the crux of the course, and that is the capstone essay, or the research anyway for the capstone essay. Prior to that discussion, though, let me talk about what's due today. You should have all submitted or posted your blog entries last night. By midnight, I'll be getting on and checking those. When I review your blog entries, I will simply be responding to them. So you'll see a little bit of feedback in the grade section on Brightspace. I almost called it Springboard again, sorry. So you'll see me put like a little commentary. Prior to the end of the semester, the very last week, you'll be going back and revising your top blog, so perfecting. Think about the audience. When you create a blog, you're publishing it. You're putting it out there for everyone to see a blog entry. So you want to make sure that it's polished, that it's correct, that there are no mistakes. That reduces your credibility if you have typographical errors or usage errors, whatever it might be. So take some time to review those. And like I said, you'll have a chance to do that again at the end of the semester. Okay, so beyond that, you should be working on the final draft of your rhetorical analysis. I provided feedback for everyone. I know that a couple of you, especially with PDFs, I have a heck of a time providing feedback that will stay on PDFs. So a lot of times I'll just copy and paste and then send it back to you as a Word document so that I can make those track changes directly on it. Emma, I'm sending yours back. I just have to go back. I can't even open the comments now. It's not giving me access to the notes that I posted. So I'll find a way to, I'll just go back and re-examine yours. So those should all be back to you, and your final drafts are due tonight by midnight. In addition to the final draft, I want you to submit an overview. Okay, so it's kind of an informal reflection on your writing process, on the final draft, on the steps that you made while making those changes, even while creating the draft initially. So it's an opportunity for you to very informally speak to your writing process, to how you feel about that final product. I will post the link again for you on how to do this. It's less than a page, just gets attached to the end of your essay. Just an opportunity for you to, number one, go back and reread your final draft and say, oh, wow, this is what I did. This is how I feel about it. Wow, I'm awesome. This is a fabulous piece of writing. Or, maybe I could have applied myself a little more strongly, or I could have been a little more objective, or I struggled with identifying some of the rhetorical appeals in the essay. Whatever it is that you think about when you read that essay, it just gives you a chance to offer up a sort of review of your own, on your own essay. So it's a meta writing of sorts. So that should accompany your final draft. If you've already submitted it, and a couple of you have, you can go back and add your overview at some point today. I like to have you write those after you've produced your final draft of a paper, just so you're forced to spend some time reflecting on your own work. It's silly in some regards, because you think, oh, well, of course, I worked and reworked to revise that paper. But believe it or not, a lot of times people don't actually go back and read their essays. So that pushes you to do that and think a little bit about it. Okay, now, on the next front, and this is really important, all right? You are going to begin, or you should begin, or should have begun, thinking about a topic for your capstone essay. And this is what the whole rest of the course, the next 4 weeks, you're going to be delving deeply into what's going to begin as a research question. And you're probably thinking, what the heck, a question? Not the answer to that question, which will ultimately be your position on the issue, but a question, something that forces you to drive some research to find answers to that question. Don't feel like you have to know your position on an issue before you begin writing the paper. In fact, the opposite is true. You shouldn't really know 100% what your position is because you haven't had a chance to yet research various points of view on the issue, to even maybe formulate a clear and concise question to help you identify a position on the issue. So yes, ultimately, end of next week, you're going to write a position-based paper. But prior to that, I want you to really understand the topic. And at this point, you may not even be entirely sure what you want to research. So that's where I want you to go right now. I apologize. Initially, the window closed last night. I want you guys to have until Tuesday night at midnight to post your research questions and to respond to 3 of your peers. All right, so to ask some more questions, to offer some suggestions. This is preliminary. I get it. I just want you thinking about things. I don't want you to just go and Google search and say, oh, top topics to write a position paper about. I want you to care about what you're writing on. And I know that sounds sort of corny, but honestly, if you care about it, you will write such better papers. And if you want to know about something, you will do better research. You will find better sources. Things will come together much more effectively. I promise you. That's the way this will work out. So I want you to spend some time thinking about things that matter to you. Maybe you're really appalled at the whole texting and driving situation. Well, nobody really thinks, for example, that texting and driving is a good thing. Okay, if you're saying you do, I'm not listening to you. But the question then should be, what do we do about texting and driving? Should we have stiffer penalties? Then your research is going to unveil things like the number of accidents caused by texting and driving, or the ramifications on especially young people and texting and driving. You might have to find things about comparing distracted driving to other forms of impaired driving. That's the idea. You're not just going to find people who agree with your position or who have I guess, set positions on the issue. You're going to find research all the way around the topic. Okay, so that's what I want you to begin thinking about. The first piece of this capstone is going to ask you to begin the research process. So you're going to start with this question. You're going to respond to each other's questions. I'm going to respond. I'm going to give you some feedback. You're going to choose a topic. And then you're going to create an annotated bibliography. So you're going to start identifying some good resources. That's what this week's going to be all about. But the first step is to unveil that research question. I posted a bunch of documents to help you do that, to guide you, to let you see that research is not about finding an answer to that question yet, but it's about sometimes just figuring out what it is you're looking for. All right, so you shouldn't have all the answers before you research, in other words. Use the research to help create the questions, to help sculpt your position, to help you identify what you still need to know. All right, so there's a lot involved in research. It shouldn't be the answer to the question. It should be the development of a lot more questions, I guess. Hard time finding words this morning. Sorry, guys. Okay, so that's where you are. I have all of these things posted, and tomorrow I'm going to talk a lot about valid resources, about identifying and using some of the university's databases, about moving beyond a Google search, which is going to yield 1 million hits, about narrowing your research question. So all of this is coming. I want you, though, to at least begin thinking about it. And those of you that have posted already, thank you. If you have not, please get on there and do that. I will be in touch. Have a fantastic day. Stay cool.